Hi, Linda Bowney here from stampingwithlinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. It's Tuesday, so fancy fold day, and today I am going to do a fancy fold using my hybrid embossing folder. If you do not know how to use a hybrid embossing folder, go to my YouTube channel, stampingwithlinda.com, or my blog, and I did a video last Friday. I will put the link in my blog post on how to use these hybrid folders. They emboss and cut at the same time, and today's embossing folder, I used the distressed gold specialty paper. Now, a little tip, this is only one-sided paper, and so if you are die cutting a designer series paper or specialty paper with one side, you want to make sure that the paper, the front of the paper, is facing up against the folder where it says Stampin' Up. So I have this already done. Now, this hybrid dies and folders are from the Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder, and it matches the Merriest Moments stamp set. So I've just got a fun creative fold to share with you. I'm going to use the die. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and what I have done is I have taken a standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at the 4 1/4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my die and I am going to place it, the fold is right here, I'm going to place it on the fold, and I want to overlap a little bit from that fold, because this is going to become my fancy fold. So let's go ahead and add this back down. Again, I just want to make sure the die cuts. Maybe we're going to have to go this way. It wants to cut out the whole die except for along the fold, and that I want to overlap so that the whole fold is not cut off with a die. Find it best to add some tape, either masking tape or masking paper, post-it notes, whatever, to hold that die in place. I am using the very vanilla heavy cardstock, so I want to make sure that I run it through a couple of times to make sure that it goes through both layers of that paper. So let's go ahead and take that out, like so. Make it cut well, and that is going to become our card opening. Doesn't matter if I leave some of the masking tape on that card, because I am going to adhere the specialty gold on top of that. Now, I thought I had my Tombow glue. I do. I have it here. I like using the Tombow because it'll get down through that embossing folder well. Let's see, I need to put it like so. So I don't want to put a lot of adhesive where that fold is going to be. So I'm just going to add my adhesive. With the Tombow, it allows you to adjust it, the card base, more when you're moving it back and forth. So we're going to add that to our fancy fold, like so. And then I'm going to add that to a 1/4 sheet of the basic black that I have embossed. Like so. And now you have your fancy fold. It opens up from the die cut. Now we're going to do the inside of that card. We are using the die from that Merriest Frames dies, and it has a stitched on it. We are going to bring in our embossing buddy. So glad to see that's back in the holiday catalog for you to purchase. I'm going to use my Versamark and use the stamp set that matches the folder, Merriest Moments. We are going to stamp with the Versamark on the black. Versamark is a pigment ink, so it will hold our embossing folder, or our embossing powder rather. So we're going to grab this and spoon some of that powder on. Your embossing buddy helps keep down with the static and moisture, so that you don't have as many of the extra flakes hanging around. Now I have my heat tool off here, and I'm heating it up, and we're just going to emboss that. Embossing, I don't do heat embossing as much as I used to. That was my favorite thing to do when I first became a demonstrator. I love the magic when that powder melts. But what we're also going to do is we are going to use that embossing powder to make a border around our greeting. So we're just going to set just the edge of that die cut into our Versamark and then put it into our powder like so. Let's see if we've got, yeah, that looks good. We're going to go ahead and heat emboss it. We're going to do that on all 4 sides, just placing that right on the Versamark pad. You don't want it too much, and I may have done it too much on this one. So what I'm going to do is grab a paintbrush, and you see I've got too much powder, so I'm just going to take that paintbrush and brush off the excess. What is it saying? No mistaken hand stamping, just reason to embellish, but in this case, just to correct my mistakes. So we're going to heat that powder up. And so I did that for my card. I'm going to go ahead, you get the general idea. You do all 4 sides. I already did it on another piece, so I've got this. This is going to become the front section of my card here. So we've got our creative fold, our fancy fold. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this so that it'll stick up. And then what I did was the scrap pieces of that distress gold specialty paper, I went and took the dies from this set and I die cut poinsettias, and then took my pearlized enamel paint. This is specialty paint, comes in the red, white, and gray, 3 bottles, and it is our weekly deal this week. So again, head over to my blog, stampingwithlinda.com. It is on sale right now, but there you have a fun fancy fold using the Merriest Frames hybrid embossing folder and our distressed gold specialty paper. Hope you've enjoyed this fold. Talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.